all right. So if you are watching this video, it's because you are someone that we kind of deem as special, okay? Or maybe not special, I don't know what the right word is, but I'm a football junkie, I'm a sports junkie. So like you're considered a new recruit that's coming in that has a lot of potential, you know, like a first round draft pick, okay? We don't show this video to everybody. But there's really three things that you know, for those of you that are really serious, that are locked in, that say, you know, this is an incredible opportunity and I really want to get successful at this thing. There's three major principles that I've always followed through my whole career. I've taught every new person to do this, and those that do, hey, they end up huge. The ones that don't, you know, they struggle. And they're easy things to do, but they're also easy things not to do. So let's get right into it. Number one, you know, we have, you know, I was always an athlete, and the simple rule with all athletics is if you don't practice, you don't play in the games, right? And our practice is we have training classes every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday nights. Now, based on your time zone, Pacific time zone, it's at 5:30 p.m., Mountain time zone, 6:30 p.m., Central, 7:30, and Eastern time zone is 8:30 p.m. Now, the training is only 1 hour, really simple, okay? And, you know, I always equate it like this. You know, when I was playing sports, there's always two kinds of teammates that you have. You have the lazy one that's always calling in sick. You know, they're always missing practice. They're always full of excuses and all of that kind of stuff. Nobody ever wants to play with that person, all right? And then you got the winner, the leader, the alpha, the one that always shows up early, stays late, always asking questions, extremely coachable, great attitude, always trying to lift up everybody else. You know, a true leader is the person, it's called a servant leader, someone who leads by helping everybody get to where they want to go, which will get them to where they, you know, you want to go. And so they're the leader type, right? And obviously we all want to be that leader type. So on those training calls, you're going to see two kinds of people. You're going to see people with their camera on and people with their camera off. And the reality is this: with your cameras off, we know what you're doing. You know, you're goofing off, you're doing whatever you're doing, okay, but you're not paying attention. So we want to make sure you're locked in, focused. You'll never see me in the car. You'll never see me, you know, running around. You'll never see me with my camera off, okay? So you want to mimic the most successful person in the team, which, you know, at this point is myself, okay? But I've had I've created a lot of great leaders. That's why I make a significant amount of money. But the thing is I've always believed in leading by example. I've always believed in servant leadership, and so make sure your camera's on, you're on Wi-Fi, you're not in the car, you're not goofing off. Now, if you are on your job, hey, if you can sneak your AirPods in, right, and listen while you do, that's great. And then what I would suggest is just put in the chat, type in, hey, I'm at work, but I'm definitely paying attention. That's awesome. We love people like that, right? Okay, so number one, never miss a training. Never miss a training. Okay, and I started when I was young. I was 18 years old. I wanted to prove to all the veterans that I'm a stud, you know, that I'm a winner. So when there was an ice storm, snowstorm, you know, or if I was sick or I, you know, had surgeries or whatever, you know, all that stuff, I made sure I was still in those trainings. And back in the day, we drove an hour to the office, you know, and I would show up when most people wouldn't. So always be trying to prove how great you are, how tough you are, how committed you are. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, always be going on 5 to 10 appointments a week, okay? That's where you're gonna learn the blood and guts of this business. You're gonna have a lot of fun with your trainer, you know, seeing how it's done, right? And then the third thing, and this is why I'm showing this video to you specifically, okay? We saw something in you. I don't know exactly what your trainer saw in you, but there's a huge event coming up, July 10th through the 14th in Atlanta, Georgia, this year, 2024, and it is our national convention, okay? And I cannot impress upon you enough the importance of that event. And I'm going to tell you my personal story, and hopefully it'll make sense. You know, I grew up in Kansas City. My parents are immigrants from India. And, you know, and I grew up insecure just like everybody else, right? And I was so nervous and shy and very much introverted, extremely introverted. And so, you know, the way society works and the way our teachers are, our parents, our, you know, society, the TV, CNN, all that stuff, they're all brainwashing us into thinking one specific ideology. that success is a box that only a certain few fit inside. And I drank the Kool-Aid just like everybody else. You know, my predisposition was I always thought that successful people, like you had to be in your 40s or 50s. Successful people, you know, you have to be 6 foot tall or higher, right? Successful people have beautiful hair, perfect hair, right? Successful people, you know, talk eloquently, and they talk like you need a thesaurus just to understand what the hell they're talking about, right? You know, and they have college degrees, and they have master's degrees, and they have PhDs, and they're just like that perfect person that fits into that perfect box, you know, that honestly, you know, at 18 years old, I'm 5'9", I'm not 6 foot. I barely got a high school diploma. I don't have a college degree. I certainly don't have a master's, and I definitely don't have a PhD, right? Maybe a PhD, public high school diploma, right? That's my PhD, okay? And I'm not in my 40s and 50s when I started, okay? I was 18 years old. You know, I didn't talk eloquently and all that stuff. I didn't like school, right? So subconsciously, this is what happens psychologically, and this is why I think a lot of people don't win as much as they want to in this world, is because our conscious mind, like when we join Primerica, we're excited. I want to make $1 million. I want to make 100 grand. I want to be a business owner. Da, 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 da. So our conscious mind is excited. But our subconscious mind, which is truly 10 times more powerful than our conscious mind. So our world, our life is run by our subconscious mind, our subconscious beliefs. And my subconscious beliefs were, Mark, what are you doing? Come on. You barely made it out of high school. You don't have a degree. You're not 40 or 50. No one 18 years old does anything in business. You're not even, I mean, you suck at math. You're the only Indian that sucks at math, right? You know, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this, you're not that. You're certainly not 6 foot tall. You don't, you know, all this stuff. Okay? Back then, the only thing I had going for me in that little box was I had a lot of hair. Believe it or not, I actually had a lot of hair back then, right? But that was the only box I checked. So consciously, we want to win. Subconsciously, we're like, there's no way you're going to win. So these two are at odds. And if your subconscious is 10 times more powerful, who do you think is going to win the battle? Right. The subconscious will always win. So our doubts will always overcome, you know, our hopes. So what happened with me, and this is what changed this is the reason why you're here today, okay, is because, you know, I was in the business for 4 months. I was a senior in high school, 18 years old, started in September of my senior year, and this was December. So this is back in Kansas City. And this guy walks into the office. Now, 4 months in the business, I was part-time, but I was working hard. I had 0 teammates and 0 clients, okay? Hadn't gotten anything in 4 months because I was riddled with self-doubt, okay? And so this guy, Les Line, walks in the office. I'll never forget his name. And he goes, "Hey, Mark, I've got I've got an extra ticket to the national convention, plane ticket, hotel, air, you know, all that stuff. I'll give it to you. It's going to be about, I think it was like $600 or $700. And back then when you could actually transfer plane tickets and all that kind of stuff. And he goes, if you want it, it's yours. And I was like, man, I'm broke. He goes, well, if you can figure it out, let me know. And so I thought about it. I go, man, I want to be in Tampa, Florida versus Kansas City in the winter, right? And so I sold my Super Nintendo, which, as you know, for any teenage boy, that's like the holy grail, right? I sold my big screen TV, which was a 13-inch TV, okay, tiny black and white TV, okay, tells you how old I am. And I borrowed a bunch of money from my friends. And my dad found out. He goes, oh, you're going to the convention? Okay, all right. And my dad was a regional leader at the time, and he was doing really well. My parents were great. And so they said, you're going to all the meetings, though. You're not going to the beach. And I said, yeah, that's fair. So what happened to me that changed the direction of my life forever was I went down to this convention. And remember, my subconscious mind is telling me, you can't do this. My conscious mind is saying, I think, let's do it. My subconscious, like, you're a loser, dude. You're not going to make it. But then I start meeting people like Jimmy Meyer, Hector Lamarck, Rick Susie, Shane Rudman, you know, Virginia Carter, you know, all these beautiful people, like beautiful, when I say beautiful, meaning beautiful souls, good-hearted people, character-driven, loving people. But none of them fit inside that box either. They were just like me. They all started when they were 21 or 22 or didn't have a college degree or this or that. Or when they got on stage, my favorite was Jimmy Meyer. And Jimmy would be like, he would cuss, which you don't do. That's not professional, right? And he would be cracking stupid jokes and I'm laughing my ass off and I'm like, oh my God, I love that guy. But he was so, quote unquote, unprofessional. And I turned to my dad and go, how much does he make? And he goes, oh, he makes about $1.2 million a year. He's from Wayne, New Jersey. I go, he makes that makes $1 million a year? I go, how much does Rick Susie make? Oh, he makes about $2 million. What? How much does Hector Lamarck make? He makes about $2.5 million. I said, holy crap. How much does Shane Rudman make? He makes $600,000. I said, Shane was a college dropout, was delivering ice in an ice truck for $4 an hour. I said, holy crap. And so right then in that 3 days, the rubber bands to my subconscious brain snapped. And all of a sudden throughout that weekend, my subconscious started aligning with my conscious brain. My conscious brain is, of course, excited. They're like, we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And for the first time in 4 months, my subconscious was not disagreeing. My subconscious started saying, you know what? I think we might be able to do this. Bro, I mean, if that guy did it, that girl did it, that lady did it, that guy did it, that guy did it, and none of them fit inside that perfect box, holy crap. You're no different than them. And my subconscious gets motivated and starts believing. And by the plane ride home, both my subconscious and my conscious mind are in sync. And we were in ultimate attack mode. And that's when I decided I had a baseball scholarship lined up for me. I decided to give up my scholarship to do this full-time as soon as I graduated high school. And then the very next month, now this is the kicker, January 1993, very next month, after 4 months of zeros, I set a record for the youngest person in the Midwest to recruit 5 people in 1 month. I was 18 years old and I set a record. So you go for 4 months doing zeros because your subconscious doesn't believe. All of a sudden, the subconscious believes. I set a record. And then our business just exploded. And by the time I graduated high school, I was making more money part-time at 18 years old than most of my friends who had graduated before me were making full-time. And of course, I quit my scholarship, went full-time, and then I became a regional vice president at age 20, which was the youngest RVP in the company at that time. It's been broken since. And then the business kept growing. Age 26, I moved to Phoenix. And now, fast forward, I'm 49 years old, and we have we just opened our 43rd location in the United States. This one is in Houston with James Watford, the phenomenal regional vice president, him and his amazing wife, Leah. And we have 43 regional vice presidents around the country. This month, April of 2024, when the numbers are not final yet, but when the numbers are final, I should make right around $75,000 for just the month of April. And I'm shocked just saying that because I'm a high school barely graduate. I had to take 3 gym classes my senior year just to get my GPA up to a 3.0, right? And I am the epitome of, man, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So there's a national convention, like I mentioned, July 10th through the 14th. And the reason why you're watching this video is because I want to personally invite you to that event. Because we rarely invite unlicensed people. In fact, only maybe 10% of the unlicensed people I'll personally invite because they tend to be more headaches than they are helping, right? And so, but from everything that I've heard about you, I want to personally invite you. I'm telling you, it will change your life. And yeah, does it cost money? Yeah, you got to go to Atlanta, right? But look at it as a business trip. Okay, yeah, some people, Julio sold his Xbox, other people sold jewelry when they first started, because they weren't licensed, they didn't have money. So, hey, dude, sell something, because I guarantee you, if you implement what you learn at that event, you will make minimum $1,000 your first week coming back, okay? Because by then you should be licensed. So hopefully it works, hopefully this helps, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the convention in Atlanta. God bless. Take care.